Ciao amici, bentornati o benvenuti al mio canale Learn Italian for Travel. Sono Danielle, la vostra insegnante, e è passato molto tempo dall'ultimo video che ho fatto. It's been a long time since the last video that I made. Let's backtrack a minute. I was teaching Italian at a community college. They ended up cutting the Italian, and I went back to school to get my teaching credential in secondary level Spanish. So now I teach at a charter school, and I teach a bunch of things, not Italian. I teach intro to Spanish, culinary arts, wellness, and even algebra. So actually that's why I haven't made any videos, because I've been needing to review math concepts to teach to high schoolers. So I actually do teach a private Italian class in the community once a week. It's a lovely group of people, and we've been working on imperatives, and I thought that it would make sense for me, because I'm on my spring break right now from school, to do a little video on imperatives or commands, because I haven't done a video yet on these. And I'm also doing this video because a lot of you have asked for more videos, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of the comments that you all leave. Everybody's always so kind, and it makes me want to do more. And the emails that all of you send me, this is why I do this. It's not for the money, it's for the connection, it's to help all of you get ready for your trip, or to cultivate love for Italy, for the Italian language. So eccomi e eccoci, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing commands, and we're going to be talking about direct object pronouns that we're going to attach to commands. Va bene? Siete pronti? Ok, allora cominciamo. Cominciamo is an imperative, okay? It's from the verb cominciare, to begin, and what I'm saying is let's begin. So you notice, if you can reflect on the present tense conjugations of the verb cominciare, it's a regular ARE verb group. The noi conjugation for the present tense is the same as the imperative noi form. Let's do something. It's the same conjugation. So you'll find that some of these imperatives are the same conjugation as the present tense form, and then some are slightly different, as always, right? It wouldn't be fun if it wasn't a little bit tricky, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the regular verb groups. I'm not going to do any irregular verbs today, because the video would be too long. So we'll do the verbs, ARE verb group, ERE verb group, and then the two sets within the IRE verb group. And then we'll go over the direct object pronouns and how to use those with commanding with the regular verbs. Va bene? So if you have my book, The ABCs of Italian Travel, grazie, thank you for your support. If you don't, you can buy it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and it's sold, Amazon is sold or available in Europe and Australia and Canada as well. So what we're going to be looking at today are the verbs, commands, found on pagina 12, okay, page 12. You can follow along if you want, or you can look at my handy whiteboard. I think it's important to have a book as a physical reference that you can look up, because unfortunately in the videos I don't have enough time to fully explain everything. So I want to provide you with the foundation, and then on your own you can have the reference. So that's actually why I wrote the book, for all of you to align with these videos. So here's my whiteboard. We're going to look at the verb mangiare, see? And I know there's a reflection, but hopefully it's not too annoying. So we're going to start with the regular verb mangiare. Mangiare means to eat, right? So this is an important verb to know, because you're telling people, if you're a parent, you're telling your kids, eat, right? Or don't eat that, eat this, eat that. And if you're from an Italian-American home, you've probably heard this before, your grandparents, everyone's telling each other to eat, right? So if you notice on the side here, I wrote the subject pronouns, because the commands are going to be different depending on who you're talking to, just like with the regular present tense verb conjugations. So with the ARE verb group, If you're talking to one person and it's in informal setting, you're going to say mangia. If you're talking to one person formally, that's why I put lei, you're going to say mangi. So notice that those two conjugations are reversed from what they usually are. Usually the lui, lei, lei is the third person conjugation, right, in the present tense, and the I ending, the manji, is the to conjugation. So for the commands, they're flip-flopped, okay? So tuck that away for later. So if you're telling a group of people, all of you, all of your kids sitting at the table eat, you're gonna say mangiate. And then if you're including yourself and saying let's eat, because the noi imperative form means let's, whatever it is, let's do this, let's do that, mangiamo. So the voi conjugation, the noi conjugation are the exact same as the present tense conjugations. Now, this is really important. If you look at the bottom here, it says tu and then non. So if you're telling one person informally not to do something, you put non in front of the infinitive form. So you would tell your kid, maybe you're telling your daughter, don't eat ice cream tonight or something. Non mangiare il gelato. So infinitive only for the to form. For all the rest of the forms, if you're saying a negative command, it's just in front of the imperative form. So the to form is the only one where you would use the infinitive. Va bene? Ecco il verbo prendere. Prendere means to take, okay? Or it sometimes translates as to get, because there's actually no verb in Italian that means to get. So prendere is representing the ERE verb group, the regular ERE verbs, okay? So here I have the commands down, again, with the pronouns. And what you're going to hear most of the time is something following the command, not just the actual, just prendi, okay? Per esempio, prendi l'autobus, take the bus, okay? Prendi la macchina, get the car, something like that. So I'm not adding a lot of extra information here, but just know that usually that's what's going to follow, is either a noun or the direct object pronoun, which we're going to look at later. So these are the conjugations of the imperative forms, okay? So the to form, informal, if you're telling somebody informally to get or take something, it's prendi. For a formal situation, lei, it's prenda. So here we don't see this usually with the ERE verb groups where a verb ends in an A, but for the imperative form, formally, we are going to have this A ending, prenda, okay? For the voi form, prendete, and the noi form, prendiamo, you notice again that these two are the regular conjugations of the present tense, right? So is the to. So this is the outlier here, the lei, the formal form, is the only one that's different. So it's a little bit easier than the ERE verb group, right? So noi prendiamo un caffè. Let's get a coffee. Use the verb prendere with food and drink. Let's go get that, okay? And then again, with the negative to form, it's going to be non and the infinitive. Non prendere, va bene? The third and final regular verb group then are the verbs that finish in IRE, okay? So remember, with the IRE verbs, there are two sets. Set one, the verb in purple, servire. Set two, the verb in green, finire. And so with the second set, finire, come finire, okay, we have to add that ISC in all of the conjugations except for the noi and the voi form. So you might have to review the verbs. Again, if you have my book, you can look for the rules of distinguishing between the two verb groups. You can watch the video that I've made before. But for this video, we're just going through the conjugations here. So note that just as in the regular present tense conjugations, the commands are with the IRE and ERE verb groups, they're almost the same. The only difference you're going to see is in the voi form between the ERE verb group and the IRE verb group. So if you're telling somebody serve, like for example, serve the coffee or something, okay, to informally, servi il caffè. So it's the to conjugation. Formally, serva, okay? The voi form to a group of people, servite, the noi form, if you're included, okay, let's serve the dinner, serviamo la cena, okay? And then again, the negative command to one person informally, non servire, va bene? So with the verb finire, which is to finish, if you're telling somebody finish, okay, informally, finisci. So you need that ISC because it belongs in that second set, okay? And then the formal form to somebody formally, one person, finisca. To a group of people, finite. If you're included, finiamo. Okay, because remember with the second set, you don't add the isc, like I said before, in the noi and the voi form. And then if you're telling somebody don't finish, okay, you would say non finire. Again, all of these informal commands that are negative, you're always going to put non and then finish it with the infinitive form of the verb. So now we're going to talk about direct objects and direct object pronouns because they're used all the time in speech, direct object pronouns. In commands, they're formulated a little bit differently than they are in speech. So again, in my book, if you have my book, you can follow along on page 28 e 29, 28 and 29, and I explain it all right here. So I want to quickly review what a direct object is because I know it's a little confusing. So remember, when you're learning a new language, most of the time you're not just learning the new grammar of the language, you're also learning the grammar concept because maybe you were never taught in your first language. It was just understood, right? So the direct object of a sentence is the thing that answers the who or the what that is dictated by the verb, okay? So for example, in this first sentence, we have mangio la pizza. I'm eating pizza. I'm eating the pizza, okay? So if you can ask, based on what the verb is saying, if it answers the what of what the verb is saying, that's the direct object. I'm eating what? The pizza, that's the direct object, okay? So the direct object also addresses the who that the verb is talking about, the verb is addressing. So here I have chiamo mia sorella. I'm calling my sister. So if you can say I'm calling who is my sister, that's the direct object. I'm eating what? I'm calling who. Those two things show you that that's what the direct object is. So hopefully then you understand that the direct object of a sentence can be either a thing or a person, right? It can be, it's a noun, right? So it's a thing or a person. So here are the direct object pronouns. And if you need more explanation, like I said, you can look in the book, you can look at the other video that I made on direct object pronouns, but these are them. Me, ti, this is referring to obviously me, a person, you, a person. The lo and the la here can refer to either an object or a person. Lo would refer to a guy or a masculine singular object. La would refer to a girl or a feminine singular object. Chi is to a group of people, vi meaning us, vi, a group of people, you all, okay? And then the li and the le are the plurals of these two. So the li refers to either a group of all guys or all guys and girls if you're talking about people, or masculine plural objects. The le refers to a group of all girls, females, or a group of feminine plural objects, okay? So when you substitute the direct object pronoun for the direct object, what you do in the sentence is you actually put it in front of the verb. So for example, if I ask you, mangi la pizza, I'm asking, are you eating pizza? And you know that la pizza is the direct object, you're going to replace it with the direct object pronoun that represents the feminine and singular. So we just learned that that is la, okay? And then you're going to put it in front of the verb. So you would say, si la mangio. Si la mangio. Yes, I'm eating it. Instead of repeating, yes, si mangio la pizza, because people don't talk like that. We talk more succinctly. We talk so we don't have to repeat things over and over again, right? We do the same thing in English. We say it and them. So this is used all the time in Italian. It's a really great thing to learn. In fact, when I first had my first dream where I was speaking Italian in my dream and I was using direct object pronouns to substitute for direct objects, I knew when I woke up that I was really getting it. So you'll get there someday if you're not already there. So now what we're going to talk about are the direct object pronouns, and we're going to talk about using them with commands, because it's different with commands. They don't go in front of the verb. What they do is they attach to the end of the verb. They attach to the command. Okay, so let's look at that. So for the sake of this video, we're going to focus our direct objects on things, not on people. Va bene? It'll just be easier. But just know that you can also substitute for the person with the direct object pronoun. So what we're going to use are this handy fake food that I have that they were my kids' toys when they were little, but now I use them in teaching just because they're fun to have manipulatives, okay? So ecco un pezzo di formaggio. It's a piece of cheese, right? Okay, so il formaggio is the noun, right? The cheese. If we take a direct object pronoun and we replace it for il formaggio, we know that it's singular and masculine. So what pronoun would you use to replace il formaggio? If you said lo, you get a thumbs up. Molto bene. Lo is the singular masculine direct object pronoun. Va bene? Okay, so what about I piselli? I piselli are peas, see? So I piselli are masculine and plural, right? So if we were replacing those in a sentence, we would use the masculine plural direct object pronoun, which is li. Molto bene. Li. L-I. Them. The peas, referring to the peas, okay? Ecco una fragola. La fragola. Singular, feminine. So if we're replacing for this, it would be la. Benissimo. This one's very easy because the direct object pronoun is actually the same word as the definite article, la. Le pizzette, due pezzi di pizza. So we'll call them le pizzette, feminine and plural, le, right? So le, again, is the same. It's the same as the definite article, the direct object pronoun, right? So it's easier. The feminine forms are easier in that sense for these things. Okay, so here we've got the verb mangiare, which we've already seen, and I wrote the command forms in red, and then I filled in the direct object pronouns that we're going to be using, most of the time attached to the end, but you notice here it's in the beginning. So I'm going to show you what all of these mean. Okay, so per esempio, mangialo. If you were telling somebody, eat it, right? Eat the piece of cheese, il formaggio, mangialo, and the lo attaches to the end of the command there. Here, if you're telling somebody formally, la mangi, so ecco, la fragola, you're telling them eat it, but in a formal sense, you're going to put the direct object pronoun in front of the command. It's the only time you'll notice that it goes in front of the command. All of the rest of the times it attaches to the command. So the lei form, then tuck that away. That's the only time it's going to go in front of the verb, in front of the command. So voi mangiateli, that would be referring to I piselli because they're masculine, plural, and again, attaching to the end. Mangiateli to your kids. You're sitting at the dinner table. Eat your peas. Mangiateli. And then mangiamole, abbiamo due pizzette, okay? The little pizzas, okay? So it's feminine, plural, and it's attaching to the end. Mangiamole, let's eat them. And then the last one here, maybe you have a friend that's lactose intolerant, okay? They see a piece of cheese, il formaggio, they really want to eat it, but you're telling them don't eat it because you don't want them to get sick, okay? So you take the pronoun and you attach it to the end of the infinitive, but before you do that, you get rid of the final E. So non mangiarlo is how you would tell them don't eat it. Va bene? So now I'm going to ask for you all to help me in the construction of the commands, okay? And we're going to be using what we've been using, il formaggio, la fragola, I piselli, le pizzette, okay? And we're going to use the same verbs that we've been using this whole time. So mangiare, we'll start with mangiare. You've just seen it in its various forms, but the command I'm going to give you is going to be slightly different. Va bene? So we're going to be saying, let's eat the cheese, okay? So the noi form is going to be the imperative, but we're referring to il formaggio. So come si dice, let's eat it, referring to il formaggio. If you said mangiamolo, bravissimi, mangiamolo, let's eat it, va bene? So if you need time as we're doing this to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video, think about it. You don't have to, I know this takes a while to sort of formulate. Okay, so the next one we're going to use the verb servire, okay, to serve, okay? And you're telling your child, okay, to serve le pizzette, okay? Le pizzette. So we know you're using the to command because it's your child, and le pizzette are feminine and plural. So how would you say that to your child? Servile, servile, va bene? Benissimo. Okay, so we're going to go now to the verb prendere, prendere, to get or to take. See? Okay, so la fragola, and you are going to tell your husband, don't take the strawberry because you want to eat it. You don't want him to eat it, okay? So it's a negative command. It's informal, right? And it's referring to la fragola. So come si dice? Non prenderla. Sì? Bravi, bravissimi. Ok, l'ultimo verbo che abbiamo fatto era finire, sì? The verb finire, to finish. So you are telling all your kids, your 4 kids at the dinner table, to finish their piselli, their peas. Va bene? So come si dice? Finiteli. Finiteli. Did you get it? Benissimo. If you didn't, it's fine. Just take your time with this. It does take a long time for all of this to sink in. So I just want to end by saying grazie mille a voi. Thank you all for your positivity and your appreciation. It's what keeps me wanting to do videos and to do all of this stuff related to Italian. And in the midst of all of the craziness and the strife that's happening in the world, I think it's important. I think it's more important now, I've noticed, than ever, really, to have things that bring us joy and things that give us hope, whether that's learning a new skill, like learning to speak a new language, or taking a trip to Italy, something to look forward to. So, all of this is actually really important, and I wish you all well, statemi bene, and buono studio come sempre. Ok, ci vediamo, ciao!